Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening whenever you're catching this video. So I've been wanting to record this forever, and I'm just like, I gotta write all the things down and really narrow it down to see what are the pros and cons of dreadlocks. So I have had dreadlocks for 569 days, which includes 1 year, 6 months, and 21 days. So a year and a half. I just like, you say the number 560 something days is like that year and a half went by so fast, and here we are. So happy 2023. We are so blessed, and I'm so happy to spend another year on this earth. So let's start with the pros. So I've never like included pictures like on my YouTube videos, like, oh, and here's a picture of this and here's a picture of that. I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff, so if I can figure it out, I'll include it. But here's to like trying to do new things with my videos. I started with dreadlocks that I would say would be about here. My natural hair was dreadlocked and dreaded, and then I added human hair extensions. So all of my maintenance, all of my dread work, I did not do myself. I actually have a loctician local to me here in Buffalo, New York, so I am very blessed for that because I don't know how to do it. And yes, there's many ways or many opportunities to look up on YouTube of how to do it yourself. I really have struggled with trying to do it myself. So I have been going to my loctician whenever I needed maintenance, whenever one of my extensions would fall out. If I had any issues, I would just go to him. And I'll include his information below. If you are local to Buffalo, New York and you want dreads or you have questions, I'll put his info below. But I have had a great experience with dreadlocks. If I can include a video or a picture, I will show you what my hair looked like before dreadlock. Short. I had like an A-line cut, so I had this side was about to here and this side was to here. So it like went behind my ear with my undercut, right? So I had like it cut out here and then it met in the back. So this side was always longer. So let's see if I can find an example. Okay, so this is my natural hair right here, and this shows you that my hair started out about here, and that's how much it's grown in a year and a half, just to give you an example. Okay, so this is all dreaded. This is all my natural hair, no extension, and these are extensions. I've slowly cut them, and if I can show you like the gradual progression of like to short, I will show you. I had loose ends, I had no loose ends, I cut them off, and then I've just been slowly cutting them shorter and shorter to like my length of hair. So my actual like this side, like I said, is a lot longer. So like this is my hair here, and there's just a little bit of extension left here, or even, it's hard to tell because they're so mature now that you can't see, like this is the extension, this is my hair here. You can see it. But I've had a great journey, you know. I think for me, I'm still kind of like on the fence currently about brushing them out because I miss doing stuff with my hair. Before dreadlocks, I would curl, I would color. I just love styling hair. It's fun to wake up and do something different every day. There is a versatility with dreadlocks. You can style them. They're very convenient. You know, if I just want to throw them up, I can throw them up. If I want to do an updo, I can do an updo. There is a lot of versatility, but I also miss just like normal hair. So the pros to them is I love them. It's something that like I've always wanted to do. I said to my loctician, I said to my hairstylist, as soon as I did it, I was like myself. I felt like me. I felt like comfortable. I hear a lot of people say that like people stare at them or have past judgment, where I haven't got that at all. Like even the people in public that have come up to me and been like, oh my gosh, I love your hair, or you know, tell me about your hair, or I've always wanted to, like, tell me all the things. I've never got like, oh, like any kind of bad stigma, like, oh, you don't wash your hair, or oh, you're a pot smoker, or all the things, right? Like no one has verbally come up to me and said that. Now were they thinking that? They could have been, but verbally they've never like said anything. Most people have said, I love your hair. I've only got a few of, they're okay, and that's their opinion, and that's totally fine, but for the most part, I've gotten so much positivity, so I love them. I feel like myself. The hair products that I've used, in my opinion, are very affordable. In in the flip side of they're very concentrated. So, you know, my locking gel, my tightening spray, the products that I've bought over the last year and a half have lasted me. For me, like even my shampoo has lasted me like for such a long time. I just use so much. I work each section to wash. You know, I'm not just like slapping soap on my hair and washing it. I'm washing my hair once a week. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I could never wash my hair once a week. Let me remind you that before I dreaded my hair, I already washed my hair once a week. With bleach, with colored hair, with putting heat to your hair, you really don't want to wash and dry it too much. But in the same breath, it depends on your scalp. If you train your scalp, or your scalp doesn't have as many oils or dandruff or, you know, all the scenarios, then you don't have to wash it every day. So I think everyone is different. But for me, I've always washed my hair once, maybe twice a week, for a long time. So my scalp didn't really have a hard time adjusting from normal hair to dreadlocks when it comes to like itchy or dry or all the problems that a lot of people experience when first getting dreadlocks. I thankfully didn't have that issue. So my scalp was already like ready for it. Another pro, I kind of touched on it earlier, is that you don't really have to do your hair every day. So yes, I have my bangs and I wash my bangs twice a week. My hair is like normally wavy to curly, so more wavy now that I have like bleached hair. I've lost a lot of my natural pattern, but I don't put heat to my hair, my natural hair, but once, maybe twice a week. So I just kind of let it do its thing. And I obviously, when I dry it, I set it under my dryer that I have at home, and I just kind of let it do its thing, and then I'll straighten my bangs maybe once or twice a week. But my morning routine has nothing to do with my hair. It is amazing. It's simple, it's easy. You know, the wake up and go with your hair is pretty awesome. I have a few accessories that I had got like for my dreads. Like this is like a cool, fun little hair tool that you just kind of wrap around, and it's like a fun hair tie. You can get them smaller, larger, whatever you wish, but I use this some days. I also have some like really huge, I guess I don't have one here, hair ties if I just like throw my hair up. But your hair is its own hair tie. I mean, I literally take 2 dreadlocks and just tie, and my hair's up and out of my face. If I wish to just like quickly put it up, if I'm cooking dinner, washing my hands, doing dishes, so on and so forth, if I just need my hair up, that's what I do. So it's pretty easy to style. I don't have to take, you know, a lot of time. It's not high maintenance in the sense that I can just wake up and go, you know what I mean? It's convenient to only have to like wash your hair once a week. I know some people go every 2 weeks. I think it just depends on your preference. It depends on your scalp. Everyone's different, but it is convenient that I don't have to wash my hair all the time. I'm blessed with a pretty easy scalp, so I just wash it and then I dry it under my hood dryer that I have at home. You could use a hand dryer, and some people let their hair air dry. I personally have not, because I've been too scared to get mold in my dreads. I've been very particular with not letting them air dry, but twice in my year and a half. So I've always, if I get them wet, I sit under my dryer. I do not let them air dry. I do not go jump in a pool, which I've not done. I've not jumped in a pool. I've not jumped in the water if we go out on the boat. You know, I've not got my hair wet. I've been very particular. So a little background about me. After high school, I went to hair school. I had about, like, my natural hair was probably a pretty good length. And I tried all the things with my hair. You know, I did sew-in extensions, I did glue-in extensions, I cut my hair really short, I bleached it, I did all the fun colors, and I can say in my 30-something years of life, I have never got more compliments than I have with dreadlocks. So a pro for me is that not only do I feel confident, but the universe constantly reminds me that like they look good, they fit me, they suit me, it's my persona, it's like they're meant for me. So I can say I really appreciate all the kindness that I've gotten from people over the last year and a half. All types of people all have come up to me and just been like, I love your hair. You look awesome. You're rocking it. You know, it's so you, and it really makes me feel good. So I appreciate it. Another pro about dreadlocks, or like a fun thing that I've experienced, is that you get to decorate them. So I have just a few beads that I've gotten from Mountain Dreads. I have a handmade bead that I was gifted for my birthday one year. I actually don't have it in right now, but I just have a few beads in. I've never taken like colored yarn or string and decorated them. I've always wanted to do it. I have not, but that is awesome when a lot of people do that in the dread community. My dog, sorry. In the dread community, they'll like do all kinds of different fun colors. They'll add in some synthetic color. So they're fun to decorate, and you know, just like normal hair, you can honestly do fun things with them. I've just been pretty plain Jane with them for the most part, besides like my beads, or I've braided them a few times. I've worn it in a bun a few times, ponytail, just stuff like that. Another awesome thing about dreadlocks is that you don't get tangled hair when you have your window down. There is no tangles in dreadlocks. So if you go on your boat, like if we go on our pontoon boat, or I have the window down in my truck, I never have tangled hair that I have to like brush out. What are you doing? What? So no tangles over here. So I could go on and on about the pros. I mean, realistically, there's so many pros, and I'm sure if you ask anyone else with dreads, they could tell you more. You need to sit down. Sit. So I am gonna switch over to cons. So some things that I haven't liked about dreadlocks, or things that have gotten on my nerves, or just things I don't like. Just being honest. So first things first, the dry time. So there are lots of people who don't dry their hair, they just air dry it, and they just let their dreadlocks do their thing. Nothing against them, but me personally, I have never done that but 2 times. Like I said earlier, I have sat under a dryer and make sure they're fully dry, because I do not want them to mold or to stink. So for me, even just having this length of dreadlocks, I have 25 dreadlocks. I forgot to say that earlier. I have 25. I have half of a shaved head. It's a lot. This side is a little bit higher than this side. But overall I have 25 dreadlocks, and even with my shorties, it takes me a good hour and a half to dry. Prior to dreadlocks, I had pretty thick hair, so it's always taken me a while to dry my hair anyways. Another con for me is that they collect lint and dust. So I would say, not to toot my own horn, but I would say that I keep my dreadlocks really clean. I try my best to keep them neat. I try my best to keep them clean, all the things, right? I haven't rolled around in sand or in the dirt or in the grass, like literally, I haven't done any of that. So I've been very particular even when going on vacation and going on trips. But there are times that if I'm in the shower, I can see like on the ends there's like gray lint or black lint from like sweatshirts or my blanket, or just like, you know, clothing. It's really hard to show you like on this camera. I'd have to find like a piece of lint. I mean, everyone knows what lint looks like. I don't need to show you, but realistically, if they're not on the ends here, they're like in the dreadlock, and I try and pull it out if I see it, because I don't like how it looks. And then inside of my dreads are lint as well. Like I'm sure whenever I do brush them out, lint's gonna come out. It's just life. In addition to all of the hair that hasn't shedded this past year and a half. Instead of your hair naturally shedding, you know that when you brush your hair, it's all staying inside the dreadlock, so all that hair and lint and things build up will come out. I mean, that's just what it is. Another con is that when you initially get them, it takes a while. When I initially got them, I told you I went to a salon. I've been going to a salon to get them maintained and what have you. Initially, when I got dreadlocks, it took 7 hours. And he charges per hour like most locticians, so I didn't want to take like so many breaks because I knew the clock was ticking and I just wanted them done because I was so excited. So I sat in the chair for 7 hours. I got up twice, I believe, to use the restroom to stretch my legs, but it was a long 7 hours, and it was around the time where we still had to wear masks. It was mandated here in New York, so it was a long 7 hours, and you know, I'm sure everyone has their story about when they got their dreadlocks, but it was interesting. Another con for me about dreadlocks is that you can't consistently dye them. And let me preface what I mean by that. So I have naturally really dark hair. This is my natural hair color here. I usually shave it all the way down to my skin, essentially like a 0, and then I take my foil shaver and I shade it. But this is my natural hair color. So I'm not sure if you can see in the lighting, but I have lots and lots of brass going on. As my oldest daughter said, "Mommy, your hair is so golden." I personally do not like the gold tone. It's not my favorite. This beautiful, icy, not so yellow color here that's on the extension is more of my favorite, like, blonde tone preference. So realistically, I could throw a toner on, I could color my locks, I can't bleach them. I mean, you could, but I don't want them to become brittle, become weak. I want to just leave them in their natural state. So I've chosen to just kind of let this multicolor blonde do its thing so that the health of my hair was more of like the pro, I guess. So I guess for me, the con is that I've stayed with this color and now like I want to switch it up. So I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to tone them. I'm not sure if I'm going to color them a fun color. I don't know what's next, but stay tuned. So another con is maintaining them. So I'm sure just like with coloring your hair, cutting your hair, hair in general, it's always an upkeep. But for dreadlocks, for me, I like to keep them neat and tidy. I like to keep my roots maintained. So it's been time consuming. It's been expensive in the sense that because I can't do it myself, I've gone to the salon. But that's what I chose to do. But overall, just the maintenance can be, overwhelming sometimes because you have frizz and you have new growth, and personally I've just wanted to keep them neat and tidy. So if that's like your thing, then you might have to maintain them more. And I'll touch on this again, but I had already said that the extensions were a con for me. I personally don't like them. I love like long, beautiful dreadlocks. Like my dream would be to have long, beautiful dreadlocks. But when you add extensions to natural dreadlocks, so my natural hair is dreaded, right? It's not braided in, it's actually dreaded to my hair. When you have long dreadlocks, it weighs on the dread, right? So the extension is heavy if they're long, and it weighs on the connection from your natural dreadlock to the extension. So if you wash them, sometimes they start slipping. They're not permanent, right? So you have to, what is going on? What? Mommy's doing a video. She's mad because I'm not giving her attention. It's constantly pulling on the connecting point. So it's also another thing of keeping it maintained, keeping the connection strong, adding hair. When you wash some of the connection hair will come out. So you have to add more loose hair to make sure that that extension is staying in there. I'm not really good at explaining things, but hopefully you understand that extensions are an upkeep as well. It's not like you put them in and they're great and good to go and you just keep them in, you keep them in. With it being sinus and cold season, I've been having like a lot of head pressure. I don't know if it's like something that's gonna be permanent for me or if it's just like a seasonal thing, but I've had to make sure that my dreads are up when I'm sleeping. And if I'm sleeping on my dreads, it does not help with my head pressure. It's not been an issue this entire year and a half until recently. And I have to literally flip them up, which isn't the end of the world, and I have my shaved head here. And I have to lay with them like this because otherwise my head just pounds and pounds and pounds. I don't know what it is, but the head pressure is a lot for some people. The neck pressure, the neck pain, the pulling. My hair is not heavy. My dreads are short, so I'm lucky for that. But lately when I sleep, my dreads kind of get in the way. I don't know. It's never been an issue until recently. So I would say just being uncomfortable at times when sleeping. I don't think it's a con to where I'm like, oh, this is going to be like the worst thing ever. But realistically, it's been an issue here and there. So just throwing it out there. All right, so I wanted to do like a little up close and personal so you can really see my dreads. It's hard. See how I was saying the gold? See the gold band right here? And then even underneath here, I'm really worried about these thinning guys. They're very, very, very thin at the root. have a couple of them back here, right where, see it? It's really hard to see, but at the root it's very thin. It's about that thin. And this little guy, this is, oh, where did he go? Yeah, this is my natural hair. He's so little. But those are my dreads. I hope you like this pros and cons. Like I said, everyone is different. I have no regrets whatsoever this past year and a half. I love them. I'm still on the fence always to brush them out because I miss my normal hair, but I also love them. Let me know what you think. If you have dreads, let me know some of your pros and cons in the comments below. And if you have any other questions, let me know as well. Thanks for watching.